Hey, how's it going? Um, I had a particular topic today, and it's about something I'm sure you've noticed. Um, Let me grab my notes. It is basically on the subject of how terribly we treat each other, to be honest. So I don't have like a big long thing to read, but I did want to read it. But you know what? First, I forgot to check something. Well, I'm just gonna go with it. I could be like mispronouncing the word that I intend to be using. Um, anyway, so insensible meanness, um, unmitigated meanness. It's everywhere you look. It's in the world, in the real world around us all. I had my mind on what was on screen that I've been looking at. Productions, you know. The thing about fictional productions, the thing about fictional productions is they reflect reality. The current one, like at the time of the conception of it, whatever the production is, I've noticed they can reflect the reality at whatever time you view them. It doesn't have to be concurrent. It could be years later. And well, anyway, you can view them. I've noticed they can reflect the reality at whatever time you view the production. Not always, but often. I was thinking how I've seen society go from turbulence and civil unrest, and I've seen that dry up and end. Calmer, more peaceful times when soy boys abound, and times when the bitter hatred has diminished, deceptively, seeming to have dried up and blown away. Unfortunately, that's a misconception. What's happened is the pendulum has swung them out of sight and out of mind. Until the swing of the pendulum comes back its way, it's never really gone. The bitter hatred. So many factors have to happen to swing things back the hateful and angry's way. They whose eager heads have popped up when they sent a chance to oppress and terrorize, because until some unseeable future time they seek no. Ooh, I can't wait to see. They seek no other way. It was all still abstract, so oh, something something on TV, a reminder, a teleplay showing us who we are. On screen recently while watching Reacher, he's undercover on an op, and the people at the place he infiltrates is staffed by assholes. I mean, he's not like a fluffy guy, you know. I mean, he's as likely to say some smarky thing back to someone speaking to him too, the Reacher character. But even he went into this atmosphere, and everybody that said anything to him, it included a serving of rude and insulting. And he just one right at the beginning, he was like, rude, which yeah, but you know, hold on, let me finish this. It's almost done. Where was I? Oh, staffed by assholes. Every word and answer, every conversation almost was met with an insult, all curt and no fun intended, with the exception of two. They are subjugated by force and choice, and by choice, both powerless to make a change. It was so noticeable, so overt, repeatedly I questioned why. Why is everybody such a jerk? I mean, it was just like company wide, and almost done. Almost done. I got like a few more sentences. But yeah, why? What is the need? They were mainly men, but not exclusively. It was like enforced toxicity, the company code. You know, and then I watched the new De Niro Netflix series, Zero Day, and then I stopped writing. But the point is that it's all going to kind of weave together. Because on Zero Day, it's fictional, right? And it's not about what's happening now, but it is a different take on it. You know, it was written and filmed way before now, probably years, you know, a few years. And so a lot of the stuff that's like out in the news right now wasn't at that time, hadn't developed, hadn't had a chance to, you know, form and become whatever. I was going to say form and whatever, but it formed and became whatever. But it is eerily similar to what's going on in a certain way, in that spoilers, oh yes. Hold on, I gotta unplug this thing so I can let you look at the signs, because the signs are important. Because I'm about to spoil. But not bad. I'm not a monster. So, almost knocked my water over. So, yeah. The Zero Day, it's a series, like one of those action minis. What is it, like they're special, they're short? The phrase is eluding me. Anyway, limited. It's a limited series. And so, like I said, it mirrors now. So the plot is that there is a entity that can like take control of like the power grid and other stuff that you can do with a computer, and like really mess stuff up, like, you know, mess with the FAA and hospitals and you name it, like stuff that can be done right now, like and for a while, I'm sure. And so now, and in the show, the people in the government, you got the Republicans and the Democrats, and in the show, they're just accusing each other because they can't, like, it doesn't seem like the attack is coming from outside the country. Like, the attack is coming from inside the house. And that's kind of what we got going on right now. And in both cases, everybody, a lot of people cannot speak civilly to one another. They have to interact and work with each other. And so there's a lot of layers and levels in both the reality and the fictional production, but it's not like any of it can just be fixed because someone says, okay, that's over. Like, there's a process that we've followed, and it's part of maintaining order, you know. And the thing is, you don't see much. You only see like sort of one side of the story in this show. And I have to say that when I started watching it, I almost didn't watch it at all, because it was right in from like the opening minutes, whatever. It was just full on propaganda, like big old dump truck whammo landed on me, and I was like, I certainly can't do this if I can't do it from the other side. And then I saw Matthew Modine. I'm like Matthew Modine since Birdie. He came into a shop I used to work at when I still lived in LA, so I was very happy that day. He didn't want to talk to me, but Not that I was supposed to be all talking to him. All I tried to say was, "Hi, can I help you?" He never answered me ever. He never even looked at me, and I was like, "Oh." But by then I'd already met other famous people, and so I was like, you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes they're friendly, and sometimes they won't answer you or look at you. And it's just awkward because, well, you're supposed to address the people. It's kind of like your little, like at this place, they weren't like real sticklers on you have to do these things, but they did want you to greet people and offer them assistance, like most, retail outlets. So, I did that, but then of course I had to give a Fifi's hurt because it was Matthew Modi and he didn't want to look at me or talk to me. Anyway, I don't know, maybe I was giving off some kind of vibe, but I tried to play it cool because he walked in and then I tried to keep my eyes from bugging out. And I let him walk over and, look at stuff before I asked him. I think I said hello and he didn't even respond. And I was like, rude. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to make it all about me. So I saw him and I was like, okay, I'll keep watching. And so the story was not surprising in a lot of ways because you've probably also seen a lot of Washington president dramas of male president, female president. What was the one with Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright? Can't even remember the name of it now, but that show was gnarly. But anyway, there was like the one with Bill Pullman, I think, and one with Michael Douglas. I think, wasn't Morgan Freeman president once? So, we've seen a lot of those presidents in danger. The country's in danger. Independence Day. So, this is not, I may have already given away a big part of the plot. But the point is, the similarity with reality where, like, our own government seems to be the problem. And for different reasons, but not so different because there's definitely an element of Russia in the production. And I don't know, it's just kind of eerie, especially when you know how much more in advance of now that this all got done, let alone written, But it's also not hard to see which way the wind's blowing right now if you're old, for one thing, because you can see some patterns repeating, like, I'll just leave it at that. But, anyway, I think the people in our actual government are more terrible to each other and on camera as much as possible for points, which kind of sucks. Like, I'm not into that kind of person, like, being in charge of stuff that's petty and mean. Like, you can't be mean, I don't think. It's just my opinion, but I think if you have to sort of preside over so many different kinds of people, you can't be a mean person, Like, I suppose there's two ways of looking at that. I think you shouldn't be, and other people probably think you absolutely should be, and those are the president and everybody right now. So I did pull some cards, and this has like been like bothersome to me. Not like it's I don't really have like mean people bugging me in particular, like all the time. Like, you encounter it once in a while, everyone does. But I mean, it's not like showing up to work every day and hoping Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't screaming into your mail slot. It's also ridiculous too. So this show took itself more seriously. And the other thing is this kind of bummed me out a little bit. I mean, it's not that it wasn't. It was a good thing in the show. It was like a good plot point and like follows the rhythm of the show. And it's like if you are, I guess, on the left and a liberal. I'm not a liberal. Sorry to liberals, but by the definition, I do not consider myself one. Anyway, lefty though. If you are a lefty, you're probably going to be fine with this show. If you're like me, you may go, whoa, heavy duty propaganda, but as long as you're aware of it, it probably can't do much to you. I don't think people on the other side of the aisle, so to speak, are going to be too thrilled with it. They don't look too terrible, though, considering reality, honestly. But all of reality hasn't played out. There are people that have a sense of things. There are people that have a greater sense of things than I do. But man, I've been seeing and feeling and anticipating and just watching stuff play out and going, this and this and this is going to happen. And I know other people have too. And also this and this and this is why it's happening. But that is not really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why so angry? Why is everybody so angry? That was the question I had when I put my cards down here. So let's see what the cards have to say. But so why so angry and what to do? So the first card is the spaceman. Well, their ringed moon or planet or whatever looks a lot better than mine. See, it's like, it's touching the corner, the one that I drew badly on the whiteboard. It's touching the corner of the card. Yeah, this one looks a little better. There I go, making it about me again. Anyway, oh shoot, I got oregano oil on this thing. Okay, so it's a spaceman, and he's in space with a planet and a star. And the card reads, stop playing small, you are the universe in ecstatic motion. Courage, moving forward, making progress, action. I don't know what that has to do with the anger. Unless it's about the way a lot of us are feeling, particularly now, and then this is reality I'm talking about, where there are things happening that feel like they're beyond our control and make us feel kind of helpless. And I think even if you're kind of in, like, if you're like behind what's happening, it might feel out of control to you too, you know, like these people seem to be just like reveling, so happy that they have what they want, but they're still sore losers. I don't understand that. So it's like, and maybe they're feeling it too. I guess I started saying that already, but we're really like fighting with each other and mad at each other, and it's like we often say it, like the left is making us do this and forcing this down our throats, and then the right is like, you can't have control of your own body if you're a grown adult woman, and you cannot have female health care. You know, it doesn't matter if I don't understand it, you just can't. No. And it's like, that feels confining to us, you know, that would like to have these like rights and I don't know extras, but like we both sides seem to perceive ourselves as really subjugated by the other, although I would venture to say only one side that I know of is like taking away my rights and my social services, and I'm already educated, thank you, but there's little ones that aren't, and God help them, that's all I can say. And that's gotta feel confining. I mean, there's so much, and like we kind of did it to each other. It's like part of the grand plan, you know, but we really have to, like, I think, understand the scale of things. Like maybe that's why this person is in space, like feeling isolated. Maybe, like I said, like maybe they're in their own box and they're so closed off that they feel like they can't even relate to people on the planet, on their own planet. I don't know, but I know that feeling confined and feeling frustrated makes me angry. Like if I can't do it, whatever the thing is, frustration out of, eventually it's gonna lead to anger. But that's just me. So I pulled this card and it came out upside down, and I don't really like do reversals because I feel like I'm still like a total novice at this, but I'm gonna just read it as the opposite of what this says. It's still keeping in mind like why are we so angry and what to do. So it is this hearts and big giant heart and little baby hearts, and it reads, your heart is an ocean, find yourself in its hidden depths. Life's journey, finding purpose, true love. So it was upside down. Well, it is a thing that happens. Like, I'm anti-love. Okay, is what I'm getting. That the anger is anti-love, but it's ironic because there are angry people out there, the incel community, but they're not the only ones, and they're not only like young people, they're also, it's the weirdest thing, they're also like married dudes that act the same way, It's it's like, yeah, their love is upside down because I'm not like qualified to make like psychological assessments, but it just seems like there's something missing from people anymore, where they're just like so driven to have what they want and have things their own way that they just don't have room for what the other person that they're absolutely dealing and interacting with and possibly using and employing and whatever, and acting like they are a like game token, like an inanimate object with no feelings. And it's very toxic, like that incel thing. And so I feel like this is kind of like the anger, the male anger it's like male tinged, like it's not just males that have it, but what I'm talking about right now, this particular anger, it's like the males and the males in charge, or that have traditionally been in charge, that want to stay in charge, or the younger ones that maybe expect that, but not all dudes are like that anymore. Like, this is not the 40s. But I mean, it's like there's something missing. These guys, they expect so much, but they want to invest so little. And you are like a blow-up doll or something. If you're a woman, I can't speak for dudes. I imagine it happens with homosexual dudes too, that they run into. I've never heard about it, but it's not like I'm scouring gay Twitter, so I don't know. But this card talks about your heart is an ocean and finding yourself in this. What I think about in the ocean that would be frustrating to somebody with an upside down heart, when, like, say these are all of like the unhappy heart people, and there's this big inviting, attractive looking love in the middle, and you're gravitating toward it, you want to be a part of it, you want to get with it, but you're not, something is off about you. And so this thing is talking about your heart is an ocean, but it made me think of another card in this deck that talks about you being an individual drop in an ocean, and you become part of the whole ocean, and yet you're still this individual drop. For someone that is frustrated and not getting the love they want the way they want, if you're in this ocean of all these other people, you're already angry and feeling like put off because of your situation. And I think because of that missing thing, you're not like seeing the whole situation. I don't know if that's something that can be grown out of or not. I suppose it depends on the individual. Like, some people are just destined to stay in an unhappy place because that's what they need to do, and that's their business. But being a drop in the ocean and you're that person, it would be frustrating to the point of anger if you couldn't distinguish yourself and make a mark. Okay, so so Andrew Tate and whatever his brother's name came back to the States, and the stuff I looked at didn't really have that. Well, there was some stuff where they might have been cheering their return, but I did not look at it yet. I may not, because the reason why I know of them is because Trump pressured Romania to release them to this country. He's not going to release them, I don't think, to England, which would like to have them over there. And the reason why they're wanted, and also Romania was gonna have a trial with them. Actually, you should like look that up for yourself. What I know about it vaguely is that there was some sort of entrapment, blackmail against like OnlyFans or camera girls. Look those up too. But essentially, I guess the deal is they were enticing these women, and I think misrepresenting what they were being enticed into, and then forcing them to like pimping out their camera girl work, and well, being a pimp, which I don't know if you can find the right definition that I'm talking about for this, but they're not known for treating the women without they feel like a large portion of the pimping requires you to hit them or something. They're not treated well, is what I'm saying. I don't know why I started talking about that and I lost my track, but oh, the Tate brothers, right. So they are so angry. Like, before the legal stuff against them started happening, they still were like sore winners. Like, they got all the women and they still are these bitter, angry, mean guys. And I'm like, what's up with that? So, the fact that they've been brought back here is like, this is like a whole other thing. God, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but there are a lot of things working right now against like people that are not mean, ugly human traffickers or whatever they were doing with that camera girl thing. What I've read about it is like it almost amounted to enslavement, which you just no, don't want to be doing that. But our current president has brought them over here and taken them out of trouble. I don't think for long though. But that's the thing. It's like widespread and it's all over the world. I like to confine my commentary to the United States, but what I'm talking about is not confined to that. There's this like, I don't know about all over the world, because all over the world is not like here. You know, some of the attitudes from here, I see some bleed through. Like, poor Canada's right up next to us. Mexico's got their own stuff going on. Like I said, I don't want to get too sidetracked in this other stuff, but right now, these angry people, these angry males, or this angry male attitude, because like I said, it's not just men. There are plenty of, like, brusque women out there right now in politics that have that sort of toxic masculinity thing. Oh, and I started to say this earlier. When I'm saying toxic masculinity, I'm actually absolutely saying, like, the definition of it, but do know that that term was coined by a man, like, at a camp where they were trying to, like, stop being mean, angry jerks, and it came out in their sort of therapy on each other that their masculinity in cases was toxic. And so I see that, maybe not American style, but all over the world there is toxic masculinity. And it made me think of, like, the toxic, I'm sorry to say this, it feels wrong, but the toxic divine masculinity. And it's like, that's kind of, I think, what is making this happen. The meanness and, like, the masculinity of it is out of whack, like, out of balance. It's like the pendulum, like I said, the pendulum was swinging too far in one direction and got kind of stuck or something, or people didn't know, like, oh, it's the pendulum is now changing, we can change it. Like, no, we're sore losers and we like it. So, trapeze card, swinging, pendulum like. Try something different. Surrender. Don't push so hard. Let grace carry you. Well, I mean, words of whiz, I guess, to the unhappy, sore loser type. And so, it to be saying, don't push so hard, let grace carry you forward, is sort of like the next step, like the what to do part. Like, I don't think I have to identify what I was saying about the toxic male thing too hard. If you're a student of spirituality, then you know that the divine masculine collectively is kind of messed up. And there's just a regulating process that has to take place. And so, since you're swinging and dangling anyway, don't, wriggle. Don't almost fall, just go with it. Stop resisting. Surrender, like, you're angry and you have a chance to have all these perspectives, really, because you know how swings work. You get to see things from all these different angles. And all you have to do is, like, shift your body and you'll see a whole nother new set of ways to look at things. So I think part of the unhappiness is, like, fighting the impulse to do that, and it might be a deeply buried impulse since people are, like, trying not to. I mean, it's like they're doubling down on it's not their misfortune, but it must feel like their misfortune, like, in love, like, can't get a good woman, and then by the time they do, they're so mad at women for not being and doing what they want and unreasonably expect. I'm sorry, fellas, but your dreams, we don't know. We don't know what you're dreaming about. We can't just magically live up to whatever you saw on porn mixed in with your angry brain. We don't know. I would venture to say you don't know either. But it's not working for you guys, and it's making you mad. It's been making you mad for a long time. And the women are not so much mad unless they're entangled with one of you and you're real nasty and they can't get disentangled from you. And Oh shoot, my cat's kind of going nuts on the door. I'll be right back. So yeah, misaligned divine masculine, but not misaligned necessarily with the divine feminine. Largely, it's more about being misaligned with their own inner divine feminine, which I guess that's not, you're not supposed to have all of that right now. There's so many rules now, like, for what you're not supposed to do, and they're just making more and more, and so are winners, man. They won the election, they own the libs, like, they got everything they want, and they're still really angry. It's like, do you know what you want, even? So this is the next card. The old compass. And, it reads, let yourself be drawn by the pull of what you truly love. Divine purpose, mission in life, being guided. Well, this is all well and good for someone that knows they're on a mission in life. You know, that's on that with intent with divine purpose. Like, and be like they know. I'm talking about people that are, I think, so angry that, nah, they don't know. It can't get through. It can't penetrate through the anger and all of the stuff that's stacked up to make the anger, like, kindle into an impassable conflagration. They're blazing mad. So, you know, again, this is like almost the same thing that this was talking about, the surrender, like, because you have definitely lost your way. Like, these, like I said, bunch of married dudes in the Trump administration, and they're angry at women. And, like, I have a theory about that, though. My earliest theory was there was a woman that made the first eunuch, and they never will forgive women. I don't know if that's, like, too wild and crazy, but the other thing I learned about today, I didn't actually watch it. I hope I can find it again, but I saw, like, the thumbnail for, like, a historical show, and the title was talking about how in this one year the war was really bad and almost all of the men were gone. And I thought, well, you know who would have been in charge then? The women. And they were talking like this war was so terrible that, I guess I watched a little bit of it, that, like, he says nearly all of the men are gone. If nearly all of the men are gone, that is not, I mean, that's all the women and the children, right? And so I think males just being masculine might grow to resent that at some point, like always women telling them what to do. And you guys know that we like to explain things to the most minute detail. You hate that. So, you know, however many generations it took to get to the point where men could, like, assert control again, I feel like that could have had an effect on them. But it's like today, it's like, why are you still mad, though? Here's the thing, who are you really mad at? Are you actually, is your anger misdirected? Like, there's a common theme today with this group of politicians that I was talking about, and then their followers, their base, and kind of men in general, certain men, they kind of lost their way, and it is causing major disturbance in the force, because you know, for all things to be as creation intended, they shouldn't be, like, clashing. Like, the it should not be clashing with itself, which is what is happening. And it's like misaligned, there's disarray, and I have, like I said, these like historical theories, and maybe something like that did kick something like that off, but it's like a genetic thing where like it's in the DNA of the man to act like a man. So some of it like can't be dealt with from outside of them. Like you in many cases, all of us, whatever, man and woman, we have to like reflect on ourselves. We have to like shut out everything else. And what happens is we're sometimes reluctant to do that, resistant to, because maybe we're not in that spiritual mind space where you want to like get to the bottom of your issues because that'll make you feel better. Like, yes, you'll have a dark night of the soul, but when you don't address your issues, like these angry men now, or this masculine anger that's so widespread, then this is what you end up with. Like, you gotta let that divine feminine in and let all that talking happen, because we don't do it just because we're chickens or something. Like, we have learned that it helps you to talk stuff out, to work through your problems. Hi, surprise, did you not know that? So, yeah, people have to find their way, but you're not searching for a foreign land. Like, the more you look for, like, gurus and stuff up on mountains or whatever, the further you're getting away from where you're going to find what you're looking for, which is just stop, sit down, put the phone in a drawer and turn it off, turn off things that make sounds, go outside, let, the birds and things make the sounds, and, maybe if you can, go places where you can't hear, like the freeway, and it's a little better. You can still just be in your yard, and, you know what I'm saying, like, turn off the technology, like even the analog, and just try to turn everything off, including your brain, and just sit there for a while. And if you're out of practice, keep trying. If you're angry and you're unhappy and you want to like right yourself and get yourself lined up straight and even again, and you haven't tried this, try just taking a moment and looking inside. And what does that mean? I don't know. How do I do it? If I feel like something is causing me some kind of emotional unhappiness, or it's making me have one kind of emotion too much and it's not good, then I try to think about what triggered the emotion and why, and then I just start asking myself questions like, why did that happen, and it seems like that those answers don't come immediately, like I'll ask and then something else will happen in life and I'll completely forget that I was even thinking about that, and then like 2 days later, 3, whenever it is, some show will come on and something in that show or something said or some plot will be like, oh, that, right, okay, so that's like will help me answer my question. And it's just kind of like you're not I guess you have to have intent, but you don't have to like work, like eventually you want to surrender, you want to give yourself peace, and hopefully you want to give the people around you peace as well. Because, I mean, we all of us right now need some kind of help, and it's based a lot on what we've done to each other that's, kind of making us a little whacked out. So the last card I have is this here card, and I feel like it's the end of the what to do part. Reason is powerless in the face of love. Romance, communication, listen to your heart. Now, you could take this as like a Valentine's card and what it's telling you to go do with someone else, but in light of what I was saying, there's no reason why you cannot make yourself your own Valentine. And don't get hung up on the holiday. What I'm talking about is treating yourself good, pampering yourself, and it's not about like completion or congratulations, you know, like you could get to the end of one issue and then, because it's what life is all about, some new challenge will come along. But nothing I don't think gets done in one fell swoop. I think that, you know, you have to work through things, and you have to learn how to do that effectively. You know, you have to, I think, learn how to work your own controls, kind of. And we're not always like on the doorstep of that, because that kind of stuff, you have to take steps that, you know, unless you're on a deliberate spiritual path, you're not even thinking about that really. Like, a dark night of the soul has to happen. Some catastrophic event is usually what, like, knocks you into a whole other state of mind. And so I hope that it doesn't take a knocking to move the anger along. And I know that it's, like I said, about, you know, fixing one problem and another one is going to come along any minute, because that's just life. And that's okay, you know. The anger is still kind of like, I'm mystified by it, and like I want a solution, and I don't know that I'm ever gonna get one. Like, I can dream up little things to, you know, force the puzzle piece, but I don't know that that's really what the deal is. I do know that it affects like everyone else around you. So even if you're not like directly connected with that person, you can affect them. Your being affected can affect other people. And I guess that's why the anger is so disturbing, because it's so intense, and most of us are like, dang, what did we do? You know? I think I'll have more to say about that, but not now. I think I'm done. Thank you and good night.